When you sell your home, some of the most natural, honest things you might say to your listing agent can work against you without you ever realizing it. A stray comment can shave real money off your final price. Another can leave your home sitting weeks longer than it should. And one of them can even cap your entire sale before a single offer comes in. So I'm saving that for last. Most agents aren't out to get you, but a handful read those comments the wrong way. And even a good agent can end up working with information you never meant to hand over. So today I'm walking through what I'd keep to myself when I sit down with a listing agent, starting with the one that feels the most harmless. If we haven't met, I'm Heiland, a real estate advisor and broker here in Bozeman. I list homes for a living, so I'm the agent on the other side of the table, and I've heard just about every one of these. Some of my fellow agents won't love that I'm telling you this, but that's fine. You're the one selling your home, and you deserve to know how these conversations really work from the inside. Let me show you how to set yourself up to get an agent's best work and protect your price. First, don't tell your agent you're not in a hurry to sell. I get why you'd say it. You don't want to feel pressured, and you'd rather not look desperate and give away your leverage. Think how that lands on the other side of the table. If an agent decides you're just testing the market and you're not serious, your listing slides to the bottom of their pile. So what does that cost you? It costs attention. Your marketing doesn't get pushed as hard, and you're not the one they're calling with a plan when showings go quiet. And what happens if that no rush signal reaches the buyer? They sit back and wait for a price cut instead of making their best offer. A house that could have sold in a few weeks starts to sit. Next, don't ask if it's a good time to sell. This one gets me because it sounds like the responsible thing to ask. Don't ask your agent, is it a good time to sell? Ask almost anyone that cold, and you'll get the same answer every time. Absolutely, buyers are everywhere, prices are up, let's get a sign in the yard. But why doesn't that help you? Because that answer has nothing to do with your situation. The question that protects you is this: is it a good time for me to sell? A good agent can't honestly answer that until they understand your timeline, your equity, and where you're headed next. A hot market doesn't tell you whether the move is right for you. Ask the broad version to feel things out if you want, but don't decide on it until your agent knows your full picture and can give you a real honest answer. Quickly, before we get to the next one, if you want the honest version of how selling works, please subscribe, because I put out videos just like this every single week. For the next one, before an agent ever walks through your door, do one thing: your own homework on price. But how much homework should you do exactly? This isn't an appraiser's report, but it's also enough to have a general range in your head. Pull the recent sales in your neighborhood, what they listed for, what they actually sold for, and how long they sat. Then, when you sit down with the agent, hold back what you think your home is worth. Why does that matter? Because it can go sideways two ways. Give them a low number, and a less scrupulous agent might build the whole pricing report around it, since a quick, easy sale is good for them even when it shortchanges you. If you throw out a number that's too high, some agents will nod along to win the listing, then they'll chip away at you for price cuts a month later. Either way, you're the one that pays for it. So let them show you their number and where it came from first. After that, have the whole conversation. Press on the comparable sales. Ask exactly how they landed there. You want to get their real read before your read colors it. And now for the hire itself, because rushing this one is where most sellers lose the most leverage. And it shows up in a few ways. Don't tell an agent they're the only one you're interviewing. Talk to at least 3. Why 3 when you might already have a favorite? Because an agent who knows they're competing against others brings their real plan, a detailed walkthrough of exactly what they'll do for the money, instead of telling you what you want to hear. And don't think you have to name who else you're meeting with, only that you're meeting others and you'll decide after. And when you're in that presentation and you love that person, resist the urge to stop them halfway with, "I trust you, let's move forward." Let them lay out their entire marketing plan and get every promise into the listing contract. And if it's only something they're saying in this conversation, then it's not something you can hold them to. If they're offering staging or professional pictures or drone footage, it belongs in writing. One more piece on this. If you bought your home from an agent years ago and you had a great experience, that is a real relationship, but it's still worth talking to a couple of others. Someone who's a fantastic buyer's agent isn't automatically the right listing agent, and a quick comparison either confirms your gut or catches a blind spot. Next, don't accept whatever listing terms they hand you. Watch the length of the listing contract too, because this is where a lot of sellers get locked in without realizing they had a choice. The default a lot of agents hand you is 6 months, but you can certainly push back on that. You decide how long you're locked in, not the agent. And if one tells you 6 months is the only option, that's your cue to keep looking. So how long should it run? I usually work in about 3 to 6 months. That gives the marketing real time to do its job because there's genuine time and money in good pictures, drone footage, and tours. And it still lets you walk if the agent isn't delivering what they promised instead of being stuck waiting out a whole year. For the next one, don't reveal your bottom line number. Here's the one I told you to wait for, the one I'd protect the hardest. Don't tell your agent that bottom line number up front. The lowest you would ever accept to sell. What does that number do in the wrong hands? Once an agent knows the floor you'll settle for, the temptation is there to stop fighting for the dollars above it. They might not push to list as high as they should or negotiate as hard when an offer lands because they already know you'll say yes to less. There can be a real exception. If you're under genuine financial pressure and truly can't sell below a certain number, your agent may need to know that, but that should also be a conversation after you've built trust, not in the first meeting. So when is the right time to share that bottom line number? It's when you're deep in negotiation, going back and forth with a buyer. That's when your agent needs to know where that real line is so they can actually protect it. It's just not a conversation to have on day one. Now, let's look on the other side, because what should you actually tell your agent? Because none of this is about keeping secrets from the agent you hire. What you're really after is enough trust that you're on the same side because you both want a strong sale so you can get to what's ever next. What do you make sure to share then? Anything you know is wrong with the house, the defects, the history, the things you're legally on the hook to disclose. Hiding a known problem is how a sale turns into a lawsuit down the road. Selling your home is one of the biggest financial moves most people ever make. And the reason I want you walking in with all of this is to protect two things at once. First, your money. That's the equity you spent years building. And next, is the life that money is meant to fund. When I list a home here in Bozeman or the Gallatin Valley, setting you up to get every dollar and an agent's best work is built into how I do it. So if you want a head start before you ever sit down with an agent, I put together a free seller's guide that walks you through your own situation step by step. And the link is in the description. And if you'd rather talk about your specific situation, there's also a link to book a call. Or search for Live in Bozeman and you'll find everything on my website too. And I also want to hear from you on this one. What's something you wish you'd known before you listed your home? Tell me in the comments. I want to know, and it might just make the next video. Before you ever set an asking price, there's one move I tell every seller to make first, and skipping it costs people tens of thousands before your home is even listed. I'll show you exactly what that is in the next video, so watch that one before you do anything else. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.